Hello, good evening. Welcome once again, if you're back, to our live stream. Yeah, as you may see from the title, today we're demonstrating how to carve one of these, the Welsh Dragon. I'm going to take you through the process. I'll just check 2 seconds as well. I'll check how to turn my microphone on. That would help. Yeah, microphone's on. There we are. So, yeah, that's what we're going to check this time. We're going to check, have a little look at how to carve the dragon. For those who've been following our recent live stream, this is the finish then of our year, our spoon to record this year. So there you go. That's had, feeling that that's had probably 2 coats of shellac, so 1 more coat of shellac, and that's done. So you can see how that one's come out. So let's get straight onto it then. Let's demonstrate a carving that we do quite regularly. We've got Thomas Woodcarver with us. Hello, Thomas.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is a carving then that we do regularly. I'm carving this on our Cymru and Byth love spoon. So it's a popular design that we do. I'm carving in a piece of oak, and it's just to give you an idea for anybody who's interested, anybody thinking of having a go at doing that themselves. This is how you can hand carve the Welsh Dragon. So first thing then, I for some reason I always like to start off at the front here, working with the actual tongue of the dragon. And what I'm starting to do, I've done those stop cuts, and then we're going to give the whole carving some depth. Now it's a nice bit of oak. I'm thinking, whereabouts did this one come from? Did piece of furniture? It's got that feel of furniture oak. This one.
Yeah, that's been recycled from an old table.
Yeah, so a nice piece of furniture oak then that we're working on. One of the sort of things before we start here, one thing that's going to help us a little bit. You've been through all the gouges, haven't you? You've given us give us a bit of a sharpening.
Yeah.
So that helps. That helps when you're carving, especially all the fine little bits of detail. Because some of the most sort of precarious things with the dragon, it's the toes, the claws. They're quite delicate. So that's one of the things you've got to watch out for on this carving. Those claws, they are delicate. So that's an area that I'll concentrate on fairly early in the demonstration, because in terms of, this is geared towards anybody learning carving, but this is more as well, not just beginners. I would suggest that carvings like this is more intermediate and advanced, isn't it? We're at a good level here to be carving things like Welsh dragons. You can do, as a beginner, you can do sort of more simple versions of the dragon. So we actually offer a few different versions of it. This one then is the most complex one that we offer. So it is more advanced sort of carving.
A little tip there that I always used to find.
Yeah.
Whatever carving I was doing.
Yeah.
I would do. Let me think now. Yeah, the most difficult.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah.
So on this particular spoon, you've got a heart at the top.
Yeah.
You've got a daffodil down the bottom. You've got the spoon itself. But for me, the most difficult part would be either the dragon or the daffodil.
Yeah.
So I would choose to do.
So what you're basically telling everyone at the start of this demonstration is I've actually carved this spoon backwards.
No, I did give
carved it the wrong way
a
around.
bit of the benefit of the doubt, because I said, the daffodil or the dragon. So
well, you're spot on. When I would normally carve this spoon, basically I planned this. Believe it or not, we do plan what we're doing. It's probably surprising to people, that one, isn't it? But yeah. I planned this sort of earlier in the week to demonstrate this, and so I carved the whole spoon, and this is the last part of the process.
And why do you do the most difficult part first?
Yeah, it's a good thing. What Dad's explaining, the reason you do the most difficult part of the carving first is that's the thing that's most likely to go wrong. And that's the thing that you're most likely to have difficulties with. So if you do all the bits that you find easy and that you're comfortable doing, whilst that's nice, you've got the stress of knowing that the most difficult part is to come, but also it is the thing that's most likely to go wrong. That's my reasoning. Did you have another thought in mind?
No, absolutely, and
Yeah.
and it is quite as well. There's no fast rule to it, but I mean it's quite therapeutic as well. So you could. What I tended to do was, as I was learning, it's all about building your confidence. So I would do a little bit of the difficult bit, and then I get, I'm struggling a bit now. So I would leave the dragon, and then I'd move perhaps down to the daffodil, and I'd do a little bit on that. So I'd change, and of course I always used to keep 3 or 4, even sometimes more carvings on the go.
At different times. You've told me you'd have as many as 6 carvings, wouldn't you?
That's right, on the go. When you do a little bit of one, and then you move.
That's quite that's sort of an old school sort of advice, isn't it? Where they would say, don't just work on one job at a time. Have several jobs.
Yeah. Well, it's
that
strange.
you're working.
Some people would think, oh no, I've got to I'm concentrating on the one.
Yeah.
But it's nice sometimes. You know, because sometimes you get a little bit bogged down.
That's right.
And so it's nice to move away from it,
to come back,
something else, and then come back.
Yeah, we've mentioned this in some of our different carvings. Coming back with fresh eyes and looking, because you do get tired, you do get sort of fatigued with things. Coming back with fresh eyes, especially if you're struggling with a carving, that can really make a big difference. Now, what I'm sort of trying to do here, as you can see, I'm going through the sort of stop cuts, and we're trying to give our dragon its shape and its form. And normally, I've done this as well. I've actually taken off the paper drawing, so normally I've got the guidelines to follow. But I thought for this it would be useful for people to see how we very much can carve. How we carve freehand. So I've taken all of those lines out. So the reason I've done that wing, first of all, the wing of the dragon, is because that's the thing that in my mind I'm used to following the guidelines on more so than the other parts. So I put those lines on there for myself to use. But you're going to have different levels. So that wing is going to be sort of brought out. The back wing will be dropped back. The tail will be dropped back, and then we'll sort of build up the different bits of detail as we're going along. So it's a combination of doing those stop cuts. So for any of you who are thinking of having a go, you do your stop cuts where you're cutting down into the wood, and then you're using those stop cuts as a barrier. But it's a nice process, and it's a nice challenge to have a go at. Right, now, as I said, my thing that I'm most conscious of always with this carving, it's the claws. They're quite delicate. And this one's carving, it's carving nicely. It's a nice piece of wood. Seems quite stable. This will be famous last words. Something will happen.
But there may be some new people coming on to watch, Dave, and I think you should repeat again.
Yeah. Who
sharpened these chisels, Dave?
Yeah, no, Dad was, he's been in the back this week. He's been sharpening up all of our gouges. He's been using the Tormek as well. Now, anybody, we know that we're very grateful because we're getting more and more interest in what we're doing. So I know there's a lot of interest in the videos that we do with the scroll saw. So you can see all of this preparation is done using the scroll saw. So cutting out that basic form, that is done using our Hegner. We get asked a lot. One of the main questions we get asked in terms of our scroll saw videos then, what blade do we use? The blade that we use is, it's a Nicua is the company name, and it's a number 9. And we find then that's a really good blade for the work that we do. In terms of the thickness then that we cut our wood to, it's around about, would you say, ½ inch?
Yeah, it's a full ½ inch.
Full ½ inch.
Yeah, full half.
Just under sort of 2 centimeters, depending on which system that you're sort of used to working in. So you can see we're just working on that because again we've got to get the depth to our carving. I'm going to swing it round in the vise, just like so. Hopefully I got that position correctly. And then we start working the other way. And all the time we're getting that depth to the work that we do. I enjoy carving the dragon. I tell you why I enjoy it, because there's a lot of detail to it. And it's nice when it's finished then, all of those little bits of detail, it really really does look nice in the carving. And this is a new, when did we start doing this? We designed this one about a year ago, this one, wasn't it? About a 12-month ago that we designed this one. And it's proved popular, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's got,
it's got a lot of symbols.
It's got two of the important.
That's right.
Well, three.
So for anybody with an association with Wales, or for anybody who doesn't know about our sort of traditions and the different things here in Wales, the dragon, it's one of our national emblems. We've also then got the daffodil on there, and of course it's a lovespoon. So you've got three sort of important Welsh symbols, Welsh icons. Is that fair enough to say Welsh icons?
Well, there are four there actually, Dave.
Or what's the fourth?
Well, you got the spoon.
Oh, you got the Celtic twist. Oh, you think?
Oh, we've got more. So that's the dragon, the daffodil, Celtic twist, the spoon itself, and of course
the name Cymru and Byth.
Important of all, you got the heart at the top.
You've got the heart, yeah. Yeah. And of course the name then with this one, Cymru and Byth. So that's all. It's all significant. It's and it sort of says how we tell a story through the work that we do.
Cymru and Byth is Wales forever.
Wales forever, isn't it?
Yeah. So
So for anybody who doesn't know then too much about Wales, that's the sort of message and the idea behind this particular one, and it's a Welsh tradition.
Well, a visit to Wales, you'll see these emblems.
You'll see them used a lot.
The flag, of course, has the dragon.
I do believe that there was a vote, wasn't it? And I get the phrasing right. There was the coolest flag. It was about a year ago. There was an online poll or something for the coolest flag in the world, and Wales won it. See, because we got the dragon.
Yeah.
Not many countries got the dragon. I don't think anybody else has got a flag quite like Wales's. We did actually do an April Fool this year, where we replaced it with a lovespoon, and it did cause a little bit of uproar. And then we did explain to people that we explained that we would ask in the Welsh Assembly to consider changing it from the dragon to the lovespoon. And when people started getting upset, we explained we'll leave it for this year and try next April the 1st another time. So yeah, but it's a nice symbol to include. As you can see, we're building up our layers. We're starting to see that shape of the dragon. Basically, a lot of the carving that we're doing, I think it is, you do describe it as relief carving, am I right? You can put it in the comments if I'm not.
Low relief carving.
Low relief carving. Yeah. But again, going back to anybody then who's interested in scroll sawing and wood carving then, by using the combination of the two, what we're doing, our scroll sawing gives us our basic shape, and then our carving gives it the detail. So by using the two in conjunction, it does create some nice effects.
I know it's obvious, but your point, you're working with the grain.
That's right.
All the time.
That's why you'll see me sort of working with the spoon facing towards me, and then I'll turn it round in the vise and I'll have the spoon facing away from me. There we are. Right, I think I'm just about on it. I can do some work on that tail before I turn it round. So we've got the pointed tail. What we do as well, you may notice, if you go and have a look after this, go and have a look at the actual Welsh Dragon, and there's all sorts of different images. What we actually do, we adapt it to make it more practical in wood, because I know the tail that's not actually, it's slightly different, isn't it, the tail on the flag? Am I right in thinking that? I may be wrong on that, but I quite often do this. I just adapt it slightly, and the reason to do that is I think the tail sort of comes away. Oh yeah, here we go, dude. I'm looking at it here. Yeah, the tail on the flag sort of goes off to the outside. Reason that we bring it in is because we can make the carving slightly smaller, and it's nicer for keeping it symmetrical. Can you see? There you go. I'm pointing at the flag here today. I think we just got a comment there. Do you want to have a quick check on that one? See.
Yeah, we'll do that.
There we are. I'm just gonna, while Dad's doing that, I gotta refocus. There we are. Brilliant.
Well, I like this one.
Yeah.
George Orwell.
Oh yeah, George Orwell.
84.
Hello there.
Any book recommendations, lads?
Ooh, book recommendations. Wow. I'm a funny one in terms of recommendations and things like that, because I've never used them, because I grew up around it with Dad, so whenever I was doing anything wrong, Dad would point it all out to me, to be honest with you. Have you got any? Used to be some good magazines and things, weren't there? Wood carving magazines and stuff. Any thoughts, dude?
I'm struggling there.
You've got us. There we are. We'll have to think on that one.
Well, a pretty comprehensive one was it the people from Bridgend?
There was one that came out. Yeah, Celtic spoons, that sort of thing. There was one about 10 years or so ago. You'll find that one online.
One of the best things to do would be to go on eBay.
Yeah.
Put in Lovespoon.
Put in a search on it.
Yeah.
Myself, see, because I grew up around the workshop here. You were always very willing to point out the things that weren't going so well, weren't you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
My early experiences of carving, I when I first came in the workshop at a young age, Dad would walk past the bench and he'd walk past and he'd just have a little smile to himself, and I'd be sitting there carving away thinking, what's he smiling about? And about 5 minutes later, I'd realised the mistake that he'd noticed that I'd made. But it was a good way of learning. I think there's another comment.
There used to be magazines, the practical woodworking and the practical woodworker. I don't know if they're still going, but you may be able to get old copies.
Yeah.
And there was a chap called Morris Wood, mind that's 40 years ago now, but he used to do a project every sort of month.
Yeah.
And it was quite encouraging, that was. But I mean, that's the best thing. Go online.
Have a little look.
And there may be some books on there.
Yeah.
George Orwell, 84. Dad's book is the best. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's we grew up around it, and we just had a go. I mean, that is the.
And I mean,
because
we are happy to try and encourage people, and we can't. I know we can't do it now, health and safety and all the rest of it, but wherever we can encourage people, it's having a go and not being. At the end of the day, it's
the main thing.
It's a piece of wood, so
yeah, and the main thing in terms of learning and stuff like that, it's doing it. And it's not being too precious. One of the things that I would sort of note, when we had people in the workshop, one thing people get quite worried about, they'll be working on a project and they're saying, I don't want to do any more because I don't want to break it, I don't want to damage it, I don't want to get it wrong. And I always sort of say, well, just go for it, because if it goes wrong, learn from whatever has gone wrong and move on from there, really. And a lot of the different stuff we do, we try different projects, and the first time you'll do something, it might go wrong. Learn from it, adapt whatever you've done, and come back again sort of better and stronger. And some of the best designs and things like that, some of the best ideas we've had, they're actually mistakes. but it doesn't matter. You know, that's how you develop. I think.
I tell you what I got here, Dave. I got 2 Lovespoons.
I think sort of being afraid to make mistakes. That's
Those 2 I've got.
right. It does got 2 spoons here.
You know, is that a good example to show everybody? Because one is mine, one is yours.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
The important thing is that you enjoy and you see. You know, you.
Well, interestingly, the 2 spoons that Dad's picked out, I just put them in front of the camera for you to see. Here we go. This one's mine. That one's Dad. Now, I've actually changed my style now of carving to be more like Dad's. I prefer his finish to mine. Having said that, we sold dozens and dozens and dozens over the years of the style that I do.
Exactly.
So, I think striving to sort of always improve and develop, I think that's a good thing. But for ourselves, then, the sort of proof of the pudding is, we've had over the years we've had ideas and thought, oh, this is a great idea, and then put it on sale.
You know, I could have said to you, oh no, you know, you need 4 petals on the daffodil. You know.
Well, that's what I started doing because I couldn't understand how yours always. I always preferred yours to mine.
But you understand?
Yeah.
No, but whilst you were selling,
yeah, absolutely.
Why should I, dispute what you're doing? It's and at the end of the day, everybody looking is they can see it's a daffodil. So,
well, some people would say I like that. I really like the Lovespoon with a bee on, and I'd be thinking, well, it's not. It's a daffodil.
Yeah.
And that would happen with both mine and Dad's.
Yeah.
But it's what the person saw in it, and who are we to sort of argue? If that's what they saw, that's what they saw. There we are. So you can see now what I'm doing here. We're adding little bits of detail to the dragon. So we're getting our levels. We've dropped the level of that front arm and the claw. We've dropped that down. And now we're just going all down the front of the dragon, just adding little bits of detail. We can actually, we're going to start working as well. We're going to bring out a little bit in and around the wing, because that is, we sort of bring that forward in the carving. Anybody having a go at this as well, yourself, you may have different ideas. You may decide, no, I want to bring that bit out and that bit out. There's no right or wrong. If you see it in a different way, you do it the way that you see it.
There's another example here, Dave, of if I can just put that one down there. Okay.
We've got the ship on the ocean. The idea, you hope you'll cross the ocean of life safely.
And that there, it's interesting because, again, you carve your idea as far as that one is concerned, and then mine is slightly different. And fortunately, they both sell equally as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
The interesting thing as well, we learn from people coming into the workshop.
People tell us little things like with that one, they say, because we just carve that how we see it, but then people kept saying, can you put it so that the ship is sailing towards the sun?
That's right.
Ooh, something we'd never thought about.
Yeah.
So then we learn from others, and from what people have to say.
Yeah, just to explain, of course, we had it round the other way. The sun was on the left, the cloud and the rain on the right. So the ship looked as if it was going into stormy water.
That's right.
So people said, "Oh, I don't like that."
Can you turn it round so it's going into the
So
sailing into the sunset?
You're learning little things all the time.
So you can see again now we're working on just little bits of detail, just bringing out little bits of detail. We've got most of our shape, and now it's just a matter of really bringing out, adding detail. If you add fine detail to things, when people look at it, it does make it a little bit sort of more impressive. Then that's the word that I'm thinking of. And we're going to sort of go all round that wing to bring that more out, to make it more prominent. I'll move that out of the way, otherwise people are looking at that and it's blocking off the camera a little bit. And the nice thing then with the Lovespoon, you can do all sorts of different things. I'm thinking through, we're getting towards the end of the year now. I'm thinking of some of the different symbols that we've carved this year. We've eagles, they've been popular.
Well, we've had a few American ones, haven't we? So
yeah,
that's why
right.
the eagle has been...
We've done a few spoons with eagles and dragons for people. We've just finished one with a mermaid on it. We did one recently with a frog on. That was another one that we worked on. Just deciding the best. Yeah, that one there. I think we go at about that angle. There we are. This is. There we are. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So we're just going to go around like so. And we've introduced then some carvings this year. Just all sorts of different things, different ideas. We found some nice Celtic symbols, and they're fun to carve because they're quite, again, they've got lots of detail and lots of intricacy to them. I know we got one animals as well. Animal carvings are very popular, and they look nice on the spoons.
And we also found one of our old books as well, didn't we?
Oh, that's been interesting. Yeah,
old design book.
We found a design book from, was it 1982?
Something like that, yeah.
And there's all sorts of projects and...
Yeah, we'd forgotten about lots of things that we used to carve and sell.
I'm going to give away one of the videos that we got coming, well, that I'm hoping to film over the Christmas New Year time. I hope you don't mind me giving this one away, but we're going to do the doll's house again, aren't we? Because
right, yeah.
you used to make 3 different doll's houses, didn't you?
Yeah, the Welsh cottage.
Yeah. Was there a fisherman's?
A fisherman's cottage. Yeah. And was it a
Tudor
Georgian one as well?
Or Georgian, was it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
So
we'll be concentrating on the little Welsh cottage.
There we are.
And the furniture to go with it.
It was one of your claims to fame, wasn't it?
Yes, definitely.
It was seen, wasn't it seen by? It was asked to go in a, what was it, a show or something?
Like an exhibition.
An exhibition for
with Lady Di, wasn't it?
There we are.
Yeah.
So you put that one in a. But yeah, we'll be demonstrating how we haven't made one of those for over 20 years. So we will be demonstrating how to make them. I'm just checking now to see how much more I can do facing this way. Yeah, so I got a little bit more that I can do just on the detail of this back leg. I've also got the front. I got all the legs to do, so I got a little bit more before I can turn it round again.
You got a couple of spines as well on the wings.
Yeah, we got the wings. Yeah, I tend to do that last. You just get into little habits, don't you? Mm-hmm. You just get little ideas, a little bit of an order that you like to do things in. And of course we got to sort out all the claws on the feet.
Are you finding the chisels, Dave?
Yeah, very nice. Did you sharpen this one?
Why is that then, Dave?
No, very good. They're carving nicely. So as you can see, it's a continual process for anyone who's learning. You do those stop cuts where you're cutting down into the wood. I'll just refocus just in case. There we are, just like so. So you do those stop cuts, cutting down into the woods, and then afterwards you're using those stop cuts as a barrier. That one there, it just pushed the wood across, just where the, it's the spring summer growth, isn't it? Just a little bit unstable, that one there. So we just shape that the other way. We'll take out where it's just almost just bruised a little bit. So we take that out.
Yeah, I tell you what would be good, Dave, is to point out the spring and the summer growth on the actual heart, because that piece of wood is showing a really good example.
Yeah.
You could just point the chisel onto the heart there, showing them the...
Where have we got it?
The dark, at the top there. So
Yeah.
Where you've got these...
So you've got the darker is...
Oh, boys.
Here we are.
Help.
Getting technical now. It's just basically, you can see the colour differences.
Yeah, you've got the summer growth and the spring growth, haven't you? Which creates that...
that little bit of instability,
the animal
isn't it?
rings then, yeah.
That's right. There we are. So I think we're pretty much there for the detail on the back leg. just like so. Now we're going to go on to that middle leg. So a little, same again, just little bits of detail, just like so. And it's all the time then, it creates interest. The more detail that you've got in there, the more interest that you're creating in your carving. Just knocked a little bit out there, so we go back the other way. That wasn't the wood, that was my fault. It was a little slip by me. That was me wedging.
The other thing is interesting, as I'm watching,
Yeah.
There's no time scale. It takes as long as it takes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas when I was doing my apprenticeship, it was carpentry and joinery, and they brought in time and motion, was it?
Right.
You had so much time to do a piece of work,
particular
and
job.
sort of, and that changed everything.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Well, on that front, yeah, it's a case of yes and no, isn't it, in terms of time? Because
you're working with wood, you can't.
Because we're doing it as our sort of job, we do sort of put ourselves under a sort of constraint of time, but we shouldn't really, should we?
No.
I always remember though telling you once, I'll carve a particular spoon in a certain amount of time, and it was a case of famous last words, because unfortunately for myself, somebody'd been out shooting and they'd obviously missed whatever they were shooting at and hit the tree, and I spent half an hour cutting lead shot out of it. So just shows you, with wood, never anticipate anything. It's you just never know what you're going to be dealing with until you start carving it. There we go. I'm just going to bring a little bit of depth on there. That was just where we had that little bit of unstable wood just in by here, and just by leveling, just by taking that down a little level, it matches everything just to where that piece was a little bit unstable. Now we're on to the detail for the front leg, so we're just going to do a little bit just to bring that out. Hopefully this gives you a good idea. I think you got another comment on there if you want to check it for me as well, dude.
Okay, comments.
If anybody as well has any questions when it comes to...
this is Ed Thomas.
Oh, hello. It's nice to hear from you all as well, from George and Ed.
Guy, how long have you been carving? How long have you been carving in the shop? How long has Thomas been carving?
Well, Dad's has actually been carving for over 150 years, hasn't he?
Yeah.
No, Dad's been carving. He's been working with wood. He started. Here we go. We get into backstories with us now. Can I tell your full story?
Oh, don't do that.
Oh, I can't tell your full story.
The police might be listening.
I can't tell you your story at 11 years old then. Can I go back as far as that? He's looking at me very hard. Well, basically, Dad started as a carpenter and joiner at the age of about 14. Is that right?
About 15.
Right. So you started your apprenticeship at 15, and you trained, didn't you, as a carpenter and joiner? And you did. How many years did you do as a carpenter and joiner?
I did 5 years carpentry joinery.
5 years.
So we got to go back to 1965.
Yeah. And then from there, you've worked then with wood ever since.
That's right. So 1965. Oh, I can't count that. It was 1960, 40, 60. That's about 55 years then.
So you talk, around about 55 years that Dad's been
So
carpenter.
yourself, how long have you been doing it yourself, dude?
So myself, I grew up around it, so I was introduced to it at a young age, and similar to my sons now, I grew up then in and around the workshop. So I can remember at a very young age, 3, 4, 5 years old, because you've got to remember, growing up in the 80s, we didn't have all this health and safety in the same way as we've got now. So I grew up in and around it, because at a young age we didn't have these nurseries and things like you get so much now, did we? So
no, I sent your mother back to work.
You sent mum back to work, so I had to come in here in the workshop, and I grew up around it, and it was great. Early memories going to the timber saws, the sawmills, going to the hardware shops and things like that, and then copying what you're seeing. So, for instance, Dad would be working a lot with things like the jack plane, and so he'd give me the smoothing plane, and I'd be replicating what I was seeing. I didn't do then so much carving through teenage years. It was actually my sister Michaela, wasn't it? She did more carving.
Yeah.
And then at a later age, as I went to university, then I sort of took more interest in it.
Yeah, but I sent you down the pit to work, didn't I, first of all?
Yeah, they sent me down the mine.
But you didn't think much of that, did you?
I wasn't too impressed with that, no. So I came back into the carving, and I just enjoyed it. So how long have I been carving? It's a good question. I've probably been carving
20 years?
20 years? Yeah, something like that.
So what was that then? 55 for me
and 20 for me.
There we are.
So I'm...
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. I know that was a bit of the long way round, but that's our background. And that's how we sort of... And it was great. We had access to the tools, the materials, growing up around it, and it went on from there.
And it's a super material to work with.
Yeah, it is.
Wood, and there's such a lot of... It's very therapeutic, or you learn so much about...
And it's nice, you can enjoy it, and you're always learning, you're always doing something different, something new. There really isn't... I mean, there's not a... there's so many methods, there's so many things you can do. One of the things I always sort of advocate is learning... learning a style, learning your own style and developing your skills, accordingly. Because there's so many different styles, there's so many different things that you can do, that you can find a niche, and then as well you have sort of little trends will develop, and little things that suit yourself. And that's what we do. But the nice thing, because we do bespoke love spoons, we get the opportunity to carve quite a wide range of different things. And because we do the scroll saw, that's been fun for us this year. Because we've been doing more scroll saw videos, we've been able to do projects that we either haven't done for a long time or that we've never done before. So you've got to keep it fresh, you've got to keep it interesting, and you've got to enjoy it. Now, just to finish all of this off, you can see I'm working on the claws, and this is the most delicate part probably, because you haven't got a lot of wood to work on. I'm very, very fortunate because Thomas Woodcarver spent time this week sharpening these gouges, so that helps. But also as well, this gouge that I'm working with, it's a Herring Brothers gouge that we actually came across in Cardigan Market for a few pound, wasn't it, this one? And it is a beautiful, beautiful piece of steel.
It's just as well we're not on time and motion line.
Oh, it's the job's going a bit too slow for you now, is it?
Well, I don't know. I think
we got to get this is the crucial bit as far as I'm concerned. You've got to get all that detail on there. If we get that's what makes, for me, that's what makes the difference, having all of that detail. And we're not going to rush, because this is the point. This is quite delicate, fine work, and if you mess this up, that's all the time that you spent on the love spoon wasted. Here we go. Yeah, going back to the tools as well, that's another area that we get asked about a lot. Somebody was asking me yesterday about tools. We've got a few videos coming up on tools again. It's always an area that we focus on. And what I sort of advocate is using what you've got and what you've got access to. don't worry too much with the tools. Work within the capacity that the tools have. You want good quality gouges ideally, but the more, especially when you're learning, the most important thing for learning is spending the time learning as opposed to worrying, you know, about things like tools. Have you got any thoughts on tools?
It's just experiment really with them, Dave, because I mean you bought that little set.
That's
Recently, didn't you, just to try?
We did, yeah. So we got that video coming up where I bought a set of gouges, and yeah, hopefully that'll be interesting.
You were quite surprised, weren't you, with the...
Well, we had some surprising results. We won't give them away. We won't give them away yet, but we did have some surprising results with just a standard set of gouges. There we are. We're nearly there now.
My goodness for that.
I'm thinking some very light sandpaper just to sand everything down.
Oh, some people will frown at that. Some people will frown at that.
Yeah, but that's my style. That's what we do.
But again, there aren't any rules. No regulations.
No rules, no regs. The last little part of this process, for some reason, I always leave it till last, is doing the detail on the wing. And then we got our full, I think they refer to it as the Pendragon, don't they?
Right.
We've got the full Pendragon, and I will step out and I'll leave Dad come in and he can put a coat of shellac on it for us. Let's have a little look then. Right, so to add a little bit of detail, just like so. So it's the same processes that we go through. You're doing those stop cuts down into the woods. We will use them then as a barrier. And then afterwards, a little bit of detail. Let's have a little look. I think we may, yeah, we're just going to make this one a little bit longer, just to fill the gap. Just like so. And again, this one now that I'm working with a larger gouge, but again, it's a Herring Brothers that we work with. I've always sort of, when people have asked me about tools and gouges, that sort of thing, I've always advocated using good quality gouges. Things like places like eBay, you'll come across vintage gouges like these, and you can get some really good quality stuff.
I know they do seem expensive, like, you know, you're paying £30 and £40 for a chisel, but it's...
That's right, you very much get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And also, I always sort of say, you're better off getting a couple. Somebody was asking me yesterday, this is one that I was telling you about, I think this is a number 3 and a number 4. If you were only going to get 2 gouges, no, that's the number 3 and that's the number 4, sorry. Those two there, they're beautiful. You could basically, you know, you can do a lot just with those 2 gouges. Really, really good steel. Amazing what can be done with them. There we are. So we got that one coming into there, and one last one, just like so. And now we're going to use, I think I'm gonna start off over here, and then I'll turn it round in the vise. No, I think I'm just going to turn it round in the vise. Let's have a look. It's just adding a little bit of detail to the wing itself, and hopefully that gives everybody a good idea for how you can carve the Welsh Dragon. There we are. That's the front little ones done with a smaller gouge, just like so. In terms of finishing again as well, that's what we'll do at the end of this this demonstration. We always use 3 coats of shellac sand and sealer. So another question that we get asked regularly, which finish do we use? It's Fiddy's shellac up in Cardiff. That's the closest one for us. There's a Fiddy's factory where they make the shellac. And
we find that gives a really nice natural finish.
the reason, yeah, that's it. The reason that we use that, it's more of a matte finish, so it's not like a high gloss finish. It's a more natural colour that it leaves us. And then the other thing that we get asked a lot is sourcing wood. And I know it's a lot of people sort of buy pre-prepared stuff. Problem with that, it is a lot more expensive. I understand why, you know, because you've got to have the kit then to process it and things like that. But if you're going to be doing wood carving regularly, if you're going to be doing a lot of wood carving, it is worth looking into getting some kit to sort of process wood, because it can save you a lot of money. I think we just got another comment on there if you want to check if needed. Yeah, you know, we don't sort of have big kit for processing wood. We have small kit for processing it, and it does the job for us.
Oh, we got a compliment here, Mark Huggins.
Oh, hi Mark.
It's turned out really nice.
Good, good. First time for everything. Thank you, Mark. Oh, good to have you all with us.
No, he was talking about the weather, dear. Sorry.
Oh, he's talking about the weather. Oh, there we are. Fair enough. Fair enough. No, it's good to have you all with us. It's great to be able to. Great that everybody's joining us. We're very appreciative of the support. There we are. Right. I think that's me done on the carving front. I'll just check. I tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to do one more down here to match it up with the other legs. Just that one there. There we are. I'm just going to match that one up to the other legs because it just... Yeah. I think we're done. Yeah, that's fine. Happy days. What do you think? Should I do one more on there? On there, one more there? Just while you get the shellac ready. There we are. One more. It's just those little bits of detail. A little bit of extra detail. Now then, going on to next week as well. We may, we're sort of thinking of possibly, as we're getting towards Christmas now, maybe a Christmas themed carving for next week. So tune in for that one. We've got another comment there. Oh, look at that. Oh, good job. Mark's bought a Hegner.
Oh, brilliant.
We're gonna have plenty of Hegner videos coming up, and it's great. There's all sorts of things that you can do with the Hegner. Really, really good bit of kit. Highly recommend it. And yeah, we've got no association with Hegner, so it's not like one of these affiliate ideas that we got no links with them, but it's really good bit of kit to work with. I just tell you what, if you just stand back 2 seconds.
Will I turn that round now?
Just stand back 2 seconds.
Yeah.
There we are. I just refocus it, and Dad's going to turn it round in the vise, and I think that's us.
Okay, that's only the dragon that I've shellacked, all right?
Yeah, we're thinking on the scroll saw front of things. We're looking at options. I'm trying to think of different ways how we can do that with a live stream as well. The only difficulty with the Hegner is the noise. But I would like to incorporate it into. We have done one live stream with it. I'd like to incorporate it into live streaming as well. But we're going to have plenty of videos coming up on that one there. What's up there? Brilliant. Oh, no, he said he will be watching. That's fantastic. Yeah, we're going to have loads of projects over the next month on the scroll saw. Okay,
that's just the first coat. We'll be rubbing that down.
Yeah,
and
so
we'll put another coat on top, and then
we've got sandpaper like that one there, P240, something like that. Rub it down. Remember, with the grain, so you're working that way. Same as with your carving, working with that grain all the time.
There's still a little bit of work on there, and
yeah, just to show you, I'll just quickly show you. That's the full spoon. So you've got the heart at the top, then we got the dragon, we got the daffodil, twist on the stem, and the bowl. So that's our Cymru and Byth love spoon. There we are. Hopefully that's useful. Let us know if you've got any questions about carving and carving the Welsh Dragon, anything like that. Let us know in the comments section. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll be back again soon with more videos.
Diolch yn fawr. Thank you.
Thank you.